Coplay is an extremely capable AI agent for Unity. It can be installed as a package and used entirely within the engine. Or you can use Coplay MCP to interact with Unity through your favorite editors, like Claude Code or Cursor. Coplay has evolved a lot over the past few months, and today I'll take you through a short crash course on the new features and how to use it for game development. Coplay can help you set up scenes, create assets and scripts, generate audio and textures, and even debug your project, and more. First thing you're going to want to do is install Coplay into your Unity editor. First, go to your Unity package manager, go to the drop-down and install from Get URL. This URL you can get from the Coplay website under Installation Instructions. There you'll find the URL and install. Once installed, you can close the package manager. At the top left you can see Coplay has been added here. You can click the drop-down and open Coplay. Or you can open Coplay by using a quick button shortcut, Ctrl-G. At this point, you can dock Coplay into the Unity editor anywhere as your liking. I enjoy putting it by the inspector. At this point, you're going to have to sign into your Coplay account. Once logged in, you'll see this screen, where you'll be able to see here at the top new chat window where you can open any chat, copy all messages in chat, show chat history, your settings, and your account settings. At the bottom you can see add attachments where you can add images, context, references to the scene, scripts, anything needed to help complete projects. Next to that you can see your thread cost, context usage, your chat window where you can input prompts, the auto approve section where when completing tasks it will continue on without you needing to approve what it's doing. To improve accuracy you can click this button, switch between the modes, and change your model. Coplay is fully integrated into Unity. You do not need to switch to another window to utilize Coplay. But if you'd like to use another editor, for example, Anti-Gravity or Claude Code, you're able to integrate Coplay with Coplay MCP into those applications. For example, in Anti-Gravity, at the top right here you can go to Additional Options, MCP Servers, Manage MCP Servers, View raw config, and input the script to enable Coplay MCP. Once Coplay MCP is enabled and configured, you'll get these settings to be able to configure for yourself. Remember, with Coplay MCP, you still need Coplay installed in your Unity project. But once all that is set up, you can use, for example, Anti-Gravity to interact with your Unity project. We can ask Coplay to tell us about this project. Here you can see it is telling us about the project configuration, the key packages installed, and the current state, for example the scene and the objects in the state. Alright, let's get into it. I'm starting a new horror prototype, and instead of building the logic from scratch, I'm jumping into normal mode. I'll type my high-level vision directly into the prompt. Create a hallway with flickering red lights to give a horror feel. You can see the software gets to work, generating the C# code and lighting logic. It's handling the entire setup for the flickering arrays and the object's instantiation in seconds, which is a massive time saver compared to writing all that by yourself. Okay, here I'm just going to adjust this wall after it finishes generating. Okay, so next I'm going to ask it to make it a bit darker and more gloomy so that it fits the aesthetic I'm going for better. Generating C# script to adjust the settings, and then it tests it in play mode. As you can see, it's a lot darker and a lot gloomier, and it fits the aesthetic better. Now I'm just going to quickly adjust it a bit more to my liking, and then I'm just going to build the lighting. And there you go, you can see it is a lot better. Next up, I'm going to ask it to create a night skybox and set it up in the scene to give it a dark feel as well. As you can see, it still has light parts in the scene, and that's mostly due to the skybox. And it is generating here on the right. You can see the textures generating. Once it's generated, it's creating the skybox material, then adding it to the scene. Testing the scene to make sure it worked. All I did was generate the lighting again, and that's a lot darker. Next, I'm going to ask Coplay to generate textures for the walls and set it up in the scene to give it more the dark, gloomy aesthetic. After you give a prompt to Coplay, it always sets up a task list for all the steps it's going to take to complete your prompt. And it is generating here on the right. You can see the textures generating. Here you can see it applying the textures and materials to the walls. I see it did miss the roof, so I asked it to add it to the roof as well. Here you can see it's looking a lot better, a lot more moody, fitting. Now we want to player control it so that we can walk throughout the scene. First it creates a script, creates the game object, sets it up in the scene, Now let's test it. And so you can see I wasn't able to move or rotate the camera. Checked the console, saw it wasn't right, so I debugged with Coplay on the console. You can just click there. Now it's debugging it there in Coplay. Changing the input to use the correct one. There you go. Done creating that. Now let's test it and see if the movement works. Okay. Looks like it's working, but the camera is on the ground, so let me just adjust that. Yeah, working perfectly. Now, to give it a better feel, I'm going to ask it to create space debris in the scene throughout the hallway and have them float in zero gravity. Firstly, it's getting the whole hallway, creating a script to populate the hallway with the objects. Here you can see the objects populated throughout the hallway. Now I'm asking it just to increase the size of the debris as I feel it is too small. Just adjusting the inspector properties. There you go. Size is better. Test it. Looks good. Now the problem is the debris are too static for me, so I want them to be interactable when moving past to push them to the side, as if it's in space. There you go, now you can see it is working. I'm able to push them to the side. And it's looking really good. Great thing with Coplay in Unity, you can ask it right in the inspector to create sounds for you. So for this scene, I wanted to create a space sound, a light flicker sound, and then a walking sound effect. There you can see generating the sound effects on the right. And now I'm going to ask it to set it up in the scene for me. The background sound is working. I cannot hear the light flickering and the footsteps, so I'm just going to ask it to try and fix it. And there you go. You can hear the light flickering in the background. There you go, you can hear the footsteps. And it set it up so that the footsteps sound adjust depending if I sprint or not. There we go, we went from a blank Unity project to a basic functional prototype in a very short amount of time. This is why Coplay is such a powerful tool to have in your assets, as it's great for incredible fast workflow to rapidly prototype and help solve problems in Unity. I hope you enjoyed this video on this crash course of using Coplay to create a game.